everyone. Welcome back to No Sick Days. I'm Dr. Roshan Patel, board certified OBGYN and founder of Luminate Gynecology.
And I'm Dana Lewison, therapist and founder of the Empowerment Collective.
Yay. And today we're just going to do just us gals having a chit chat, catching up. So far this season has been really fun, a little different though, because we've had a bunch of guests. And Dana and I were like, you know what? We just need a jam session with the two of us.
Basically, we're going to use this as our opportunity to catch up because we haven't been able to do that. So this is for us to catch up and everyone can listen in and hear the ways that we normally talk to each other and hopefully share some good info in there as well. But I am going to start it off because I have been dying, Roshi, to tell you the story. I know, I've been texting you like, I have to tell you the story. And so I figured, what better place to tell you the story than our podcast because it actually is relatable.
It's live.
It's live.
This is happening.
We're doing it. Glamorous and all.
Unscripted, folks.
Totally. I'm sure they already know that by now. So one of my clients, I was talking to her last week, and of course I dropped your name and your information and was like, you got to go see my girl Roshni. And she was saying how she had gone for her annual appointment. At first, I did not know it was her gynecology annual appointment. I thought it was just her primary care doctor. So when I found out it was actually for her gynecologist, it just made it a bajillion times worse. But she was saying, so she walks in, sits down in the office. This is a well-known establishment. I need to start off by saying that. This is not some rando doctor. This is a very large establishment where a lot of doctors currently are leaving, and I'll leave it at that. Anyway.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
Yeah. So this is a multi-specialty organization.
Practice.
Yeah.
It might rhyme with ethical, and we'll leave it there.
Okay.
So there's a sign on the wall that says perimenopause and HRT are not discussed during your annual appointment. Yeah. Yes, exactly. She told me, I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? Wait, what?
I already got a thesis in my head about this.
Mm-hmm. There's so many thoughts. I mean, originally, right away. I mean, and I don't want to cut people off, like my clients, certainly. I'm like, please finish. What are your thoughts? What is this? What comes up for you?
Yeah, how does that land for you? Meanwhile, in your head, you're like,
oh my God. And I couldn't. I just was like, bleh, everything came out. I was like, what? I don't understand. It's like, that'd be like going to my eye doctor, right? And being like, or my eye doctor saying, no, Dana, today we don't discuss eyeballs. You got to come back for that.
Yeah.
Right. Or like a foot doctor being like, no, toes are off limits today.
Yeah.
No.
I do foot only. Not the appendages off the foot.
Right. Nothing that actually will impact, I don't know, everyone who's coming into your office at some point.
So I'm going to present a little bit of devil's advocate. I was like, what's the word? And I used to work in systems like this, right? They're insurance-based. How you work as a doctor or a nurse practitioner or a PA is heavily dictated by how fast you can see, how much you can see, and what you can bill for, right? I'm not going to have a conversation about, is that ethical? Is that right? That's just what it is. That's a fact.
Right.
And this practice, I mean, the fact that they had to make a sign and put it out there already is flag. That means people are asking the question and it's enough of a point of friction that they need to address it. Flag 1. Flag 2 is they're choosing to not meet their audience.
Right.
And meet the payers. Your message is
you're a nuisance.
Yeah. This is not how we do things.
Right. Stop bothering us. I mean, you only put a sign up if enough people do it, right? Please do not go on your cell phone in this waiting area.
Right.
Please
Stuff
do
like
not
that.
eat in this area.
Yeah.
It's only when people break rules. Right. So there are enough people going in and asking this. So I actually, let me just finish the story because I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
I got, it's like, I see your reaction, which gets me all heated again. But if I going back to the story, when I asked her, I said, well, what did you do? And so she went in, said she went into her doctor. And again, I'm still thinking this is our PCP at the time, right?
Sure.
Said to her doctor, who she said she's been seeing for years and really loves, and said, what's with the sign? And he goes, oh, yeah, it's new. He's like, I know. He's like, but everyone's been asking, not about the sign. They've been asking about HRT and perimenopause.
Yeah, so no shit.
Yeah.
appointment offered for it, like, or have
Yeah.
like a group session, like take advantage of the market. Like
You're
people
right.
want this, a service, offer it.
Right. And so everyone's been asking about
Yeah.
it. And then he says, "What do they think this is? A wellness center?" I know your face is so good right now. Yes. Yes. So, I mean, if
It's
enough
called
people,
it's coded as a well woman visit. It's
right,
wealth. Just
all
because
of
the
it.
grifters took wellness doesn't mean we can't reclaim it. Okay. That's
Right.
I got
I
I'm
know. No,
just
we're going to
yeah.
go on. I'm going to go on this journey with you. This is why I'm telling you this because I mean, I was speechless. Then I got angry. I mean,
Yeah.
I was more
It's
angry
like
than she
stages of
was.
grief.
Yeah, I exactly was. I mean, she's like, "Oh, this is like I hadn't seen her in a couple weeks." She's like, "Oh, it was a couple weeks ago." So she had already calmed down
Yeah.
and she has your information and she's going to call you if she already hasn't. And so great, fine. She knows that she'll be taken care of. But I texted with her again later and I'm like, "I'm so sorry you went through that." And I'm
Yeah.
like still processing it. And her response was like, "Why do we have to do our own research on who to go? Why can't I
Right.
talk to my
And then when you
doctor?"
do your research as a patient, you show up and you say that, I know 75%, I'm picking a bulk statistic here, the docs or whoever you're seeing it, they're going to like do some kind of version of eye roll, right? Because they're,
Yeah.
and that's like a whole other thing to talk about. But I'll say this, I'll go back to my devil's advocate thing. I've been on the other side. I have been that doctor in the insurance practice, private equity back practice, large multi specialty group, whatever practice. And like you maybe got 12 minutes. They would book my
Right.
annuals 15 minutes. I had to beg and borrow to get to 20 minutes. And even then then they just started double booking me. Literally double booking me. I'm not even going to get into the triple booking because that happens too. They would double book me and I would have to be out the room and on to the next one as fast as I could go, right?
Right.
And in the annual, like it's not good medicine to just offer a patient a pap smear without a discussion about like what are your contraceptive goals, what are your fertility goals, how are your cycles, you're not having a cycle, what happened, like how do you feel, oh the pain is so bad, we need to talk, it's all related more than when was your last menstrual period, like
Right.
it is so
Right.
much more, like it is
Right.
so much more than that. And the other, so what I would do in practice is like a patient, let's say she came to me for her annual, she has no real issues, but also, like, as you're talking to them, stuff comes up, right? It takes time to open up about your personal stuff. So I have this distinct memory of this young patient. I think she was in her 20s or 30s. And she's like, I have breast pain. Okay. Like, do an exam, clinically, negative exam, which is good. But I'm like, you know what? I think we should do an ultrasound or I think we should do XYZ. And we talked about it. So she had a concern and an annual. I billed it as an annual. Technically, from the insurance world, that I'm leaving money on the table because I could
Mm,
have billed her for a problem and made her come back
specific.
for like all this extra
Right.
tomfoolery.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take care of the patient. And that's how I had to practice. If there was a woman who came in for an
Yeah.
annual who also, this was the only time in her schedule where she could come in and make time. That's the other piece we need to talk about.
Right.
I would do the best I can, maybe tackle 1, maybe 2, or I'd be like, "Let's do your PAP right now. I'm gonna call you after office hours about that bleeding issue." And again, money on the table, right? Like,
Right. But that's
it's
you and you're
yeah, and
so good.
but that's I was not good at that system. I was not
Well,
making money
that's
for the
why
system.
you that's why you left
Yeah,
insurance, right?
right.
But there's oh my
Um,
god, I have so many thoughts that are coming up and I'm going to lose all of them because of my own
that's
perimenopause.
okay. You could type it up. We'll
But I
talk.
really might. I might have to you know what? I have a pen and paper. I'm going to have
Do
to
it.
start writing things down. I mean, so okay, if that's the case, which obviously it is, right? We know
Right.
that's the case. Why not change the messaging of that sign? Perimenopause symptoms are so important to us. If we do not have time to discuss them in your annual appointment, we will follow up to schedule a second appointment for you. Or we offer appointments just to discuss
Mhm.
perimenopause and HRT. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Please take advantage of it. Talk to your doctor about scheduling those. It's just the messaging to me is, a woman comes in, she's been minimizing her symptoms as it is because we're all white knuckling
Yep.
everything. She's vulnerable. She finally perhaps has the courage or the time because she's been putting everybody else first.
Yep.
She's finally coming in and it's like, bam, not today. Do
Yeah.
not discuss these symptoms.
I know what happens to her. She doesn't come back. She
Correct.
doesn't come back, and this it's not just the hormone therapy patient or the perimenopause patient, it's the prolapse uterus patient. It's the woman
Yeah.
suffering from incontinence who, like,
Oh,
I have seen
awful.
I miss my old ladies. I don't get to see them that often, but they would always 9 times out of 10 they would say, "Oh," and I'm talking like 70s and 80s. They would come in and say, "Oh, but I'm done having kids. I don't have periods. Why do I need to come in? I do an exam." And I'm like, "Are you going to the bathroom okay?" Because and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I just deal with it." I'm like, "No man would just deal with it."
Well, they wouldn't have
Um,
to because that would all
right,
be discussed in their
in
appointment.
their appointments.
There's
I
no
mean,
sign that says no discussing, I don't know, whatever.
so that's another thing. Like, I don't think men they probably go to their primary care, and this is like an interesting gender disparity thing. But I don't know because I don't take care of men if they have a annual well male appointment. Like, do they go to a urologist? I don't like.
No.
I don't know. I don't think so. My husband doesn't go.
My husband
He's
goes
a
to his
man.
physical.
Yeah, my
And then
husband goes to a
a
physical.
problem, right? Like he has a
Right.
vertigo disorder, so he'll go to his ENT once a
Sure.
year.
Yeah.
But other than that, they don't.
Not.
I
Yeah.
mean,
They
we're
don't.
like going to the dermatologist. We're going to the,
Yeah.
we have like all these doctors
Stuff.
lined up because our annual appointment won't help us
And this
connect
is
dots of all the
all
things
the
to help us
things.
know. Oh, maybe these are all related to perimenopause, which is a whole other
Bag of
deal.
tricks. And
Yeah.
I read this article and I have to find it and maybe we'll throw it on the Instagram so other friends can read it about how urgent care, the rise of urgent cares, like even
Mm,
in strip malls and all these places, is due to the failure of what primary care could look like. Like even for my annual, true story. Last year I had hip pain and I was like, I don't know what it is. Do I need an x-ray? Should I see a physical therapist? And I'm a doctor. I know a thing or
right.
two about the human body. I was like, you know what? Let me just be a patient and I'll see my primary. I couldn't get in for a month. Mind you, the hip pain
No.
was so bad I couldn't climb up the stairs. So I figured out like how to get myself into physical therapy by myself and I did it, but not all people can do that. And then when I
No.
finally did go in to see my primary and I told her she did a couple maneuvers on me to make sure nothing was, needed to an imaging. And I didn't think I needed an image. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're already in PT. Great." I was like, "Thank you." Like,
Cool. Thanks. I did your job.
yeah. And I like my primary. She's a good person. She's in town. I want to support her, but they're not doing the work of true primary care. Like true preventative care actually takes time and
Mm,
it isn't a single visit. It's like ongoing. An annual visit, I don't even like that word anymore because it's not once a year. It shouldn't be. Maintenance care needs to happen like at a pace that's right for the person.
right. Your suffering isn't inconvenient. Let's
Right.
make time for you. Let's fit you in. And and that's the other piece, like you talked about, not being able to get an appointment for a month. And I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. Some of these
That's
appointments are
yeah.
like, we'll see you, next spring. I'm like, it's
Oh yeah.
spring now.
Oh yeah,
What are
my
you
GYN,
talking about?
I can't get in to see my
No,
gynecologist. I said that out loud.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not related to women's health, but I'll tell a quick side story here. My son is home today. He has a migraine and he's
Oh,
been suffering from migraines and trying to get him an appointment with a neurologist. I mean, it would be easier. I don't even know. It'd be easier to do go to go to med school, become a
yeah.
neurologist, and examine him myself in the amount of time I'm calling places. I'm like, he's been having them weekly. I need him to be seen. Our first available appointment is going to be November of Thanksgiving break. I'm sorry, what?
That's
No,
months
that's not
away.
even how is that even helpful? What if it's a
Yeah.
crisis? What if there's like something really wrong? And so knowing everything we speak about, insurance-based care and the 15 minutes and I finally was able to get an appointment with someone. Someone suggested I call one of the hospitals because they like people are coming in and out and maybe they can get you in and out faster. And they were able to get me in. It was like,
Okay.
a month out, fine. So I had the appointment. And then I went and looked up the doctor online, which I know isn't everything because people only put bad reviews about doctors. They're not like,
Mm,
this person's great. Um, but there were tons of reviews and it was 1.5 stars. I was like, well, that's not going to work for me. And it was
ouch.
every review was like horrible bedside manner. I was like, okay, well, I'm already going to a male doctor and he's got bad bedside manner. The perimenopausal rage that is coming out of my body, we will not be a good
Yeah.
match. So, and what, I'll have 15 minutes. So I said, forget it. So I found a practice that doesn't take insurance. I called them. They were able to get me in. The day he was having the migraine.
Yeah.
They're like, well, come in. We got there. They had all the lights in the entire place turned off. Music was off, all dark. They're like whispering when we walked in. Like we knew, he's having a migraine. We wanted to make him comfortable, kept bringing him water. They text me all the time since then. How's he doing? It just is a very, very different experience. And I
Yeah.
recognize that that is a privilege to be able to do that. And that upsets me
Yeah.
even more because that should be standard care.
Yeah. I mean, that's the piece, right? Like, why is it so? We have a true access problem in the
Yeah.
United States.
And
You
I don't
can't,
take insurance either, neither do
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
because insurance
And
also pays garbage.
right. It pays garbage, and then you have to kind of work in a way that's not in line with how
Yeah,
you want to practice. And
right.
side note, I'm revamping my website and I'm doing some deep dives on like why I'm doing this or what is the point. And I'm going to be sharing some really personal stuff on the website, which I'm like, putting
Oh, do
myself out
it.
there. But I'm going to do it because,
Yeah.
like, what else do I have to lose?
No.
Um, and so I talked a little bit about it, and I'm happy to share it here about like how the insurance system, it's not, I'm not saying it's wrong or even bad, it's not the right fit for everyone.
Correct.
And if it was working, there'd be better access, and our, maternal mortality would, I don't know, maybe not be where it like there are
Right,
so many
right.
problems. Like Americans in general are so sick when you look at the big picture. And then within New Jersey is saturated. We are like the most densely populated state. We throw a stone down where I live, you'll hit 10 doctor's offices. I
Right,
can't get an appointment with them. So
right,
what's the point, you know?
right, right, and that's such a problem, and I'm sure you have the same. Like I can
Yeah.
think of many doctors I see who do take insurance and are fabulous. And I never
Yeah.
feel a rush. And I go in. My children have the most amazing pediatrician. I've never felt rushed in
Yeah.
any of those appointments.
I love our
They can
peds.
always get you in. Why can't other practices work that way? If we have such a need for HRT, perimenopause, menopause care, discussion, education, then let's change the way we're treating that. Let's bring
Yeah.
in people who do care more. Let's maybe make those appointments longer. Hey, maybe your annual shouldn't be 15 minutes.
It really shouldn't. Like an annual needs to be at minimum 30 minutes. And if you finish
Yeah,
faster, it gives you some buffer wiggle room. I remember in
right,
insurance based practice, like when I would happen to finish an annual faster and the patient had no questions, I'd be like, are you sure? Like, are you like, you have me. I have 7 more minutes,
right,
like,
right.
and another place I worked, they would knock on the door. They would knock on the door when I would need to hurry up. But like sometimes you legitimately can't hurry up. You diagnose a miscarriage. That's not 15 minutes. I
No,
don't care what the book
no,
says. I
good.
am taking
Oh,
my time and I'm talking to this woman. I leave her. I would leave her at I remember I would leave the patient in that room. We would chat. I would give her some time to digest, and I would tell the medical assistants like leave that patient in room 2.
yeah.
Like, just
Do
I'm
not touch
coming
her.
just I'm coming back, we're having a
Right.
conversation, and I would tell them she has a bad diagnosis, she needs some time. And that just goes back to the like, thankfully, that's a rare occurrence. I'm grateful for that. And I always had great team members when I did work in the insurance-based world, but like, God, 15 minutes. By the time you get through, the meds and what are you taking? And oh, you found
Yeah.
out you had an allergy to penicillin and what actually happened. And then you talk about how are your cycles? Oh, Advil isn't enough. Why is it not enough? I need
Right.
time. I was not doing a good job as a doctor. I was not doing good for my patients. That's when I had my light bulb moment. But patients I found are so, I don't know, they're still a little bit tied to like, well, I'm paying for insurance, so I want to use it. There's just like
Yeah.
value and
Yeah.
cost are not the same. And
Right.
it's a cost to your health if your needs are not addressed. You're not
Right.
getting value just because you're paying for something.
Absolutely. But at the same time, right? Like recently a client called our practice and we were hoping to work with one of the therapists who work for me, but she wanted to use insurance, which we don't take.
Sure.
And we were like, we can do sliding scale. Like we were offering different options. She's a $5 copay. Obviously she's going to want to go through insurance. And I
Yeah.
understand
I
that.
get that. That's fine.
Absolutely. But I also thought about, and this is where I thought about my son with the migraine thing. If I'm waiting 3 months between appointments, and I am not getting the best care. I'm being rushed and look, like if I got in with those great doctors and they could see me tomorrow, that would be different. But again, I would have to wait till November. So that wasn't working. So if I'm just being rushed and I'm just another number and quick, 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 whatever, how many of those copays add up
Mhm.
to that one-time fee of good care? And that's
Right.
not everyone, right? I know some wonderful therapists who take insurance,
Yeah.
right? And I also know some terrible therapists who take insurance. So there's good people, in
Yeah.
any profession. But I think, you're saying that you felt like you weren't a good doctor, and that was wrong. You were an amazing doctor.
Thank you.
You weren't good for the system, and the
System.
system was probably very upset with you
Yeah.
because you were like, "Screw your
I wasn't
15
I
minutes,
wasn't a good soldier.
I'm staying." Right? If they're knocking on the door and you're like, not coming out. Sorry, that's just not a good fit for you.
Yeah.
That's different.
You're so generous with me. Thank you.
Oh well,
It's nice.
you're
Um,
welcome.
Thank you. And I get it. The therapist I work with now takes insurance, but the reimbursement is kind of wonky. One day I was like, you know what? Can I just pay you? Because I don't even want you to dance with insurance. I don't want to dance with
Wow.
insurance. I'm in a privileged position to do this. I want her to not have any strings attached
Yeah.
when I'm seeing her as a client.
And that's
Um,
amazing because insurance, I mean, the reason
yeah.
I left was insurance was such a pain in the butt to deal with.
Yep.
And I would bill for a client. Let's say I saw a client for 4 years.
Yeah.
They would randomly be like, one of the insurance companies, Blue Cross Blue Shield, would randomly be like, I'm sorry, you're not an
Tier
in
whatever.
network,
Yeah.
you're not in network provider
Yeah.
for these like random 3 months. And I would have to fight for like a year to
Yeah.
get them to pay me for that one client for those 3 months. Like what I depaneled and then repaneled like for 3 months.
Sure.
That's
And they
not
can
even
do
a
that. Like,
thing.
patients don't know that. Patients don't
Right.
know that in network is not better, that you, as a clinician, whether,
Worse, way
you
worse.
have to jump through their hoops to be on
Yeah.
their like guest list, only to
Hmm.
then be like, you're off the guest list.
Yeah.
It's just so many layers of extra
Yeah.
fluffery that do not translate in like health outcomes. It's a
No,
business.
it is a business.
It's a
It's a
business.
business. And they also haven't increased rates
Oh, no.
in years.
They're
I
not
mean, my
going to.
rates were they were the same, year one as they were year 16.
Yeah,
It made no sense. I mean, it's such an insulting amount also.
yeah. I remembered something else kind of related to your first story. I've been seeing this post on social media about, and I don't know if it was the same practice that your client went to, but at someone in New Jersey, I'll say that much. And they took a picture or a photo of something like saying like at an annual, this is not what's discussed. And then the person put their own comment. It was like, so what is the annual for? What am I doing here
Yes.
if you're not going to talk to me about like my cysts or my painful periods or like the fact that I can't get pregnant or the fact that like whatever the
Right.
case may be.
Right.
And I get that the menopause content has exploded and continues to grow. And then there's like the menopause and the menopause mafia and all these influencers and movers and shakers out there. It's not going away.
No, we're a
It's
little bit
not.
louder.
Yeah, it's not going away. And if not menopause, then something else. And endometriosis is finally getting its due.
Yes.
They changed the name for PCOS
I
finally because it's not
know.
freaking just about ovaries; it's the whole body.
Yes. So
Um,
wonderful that
and
they
we've
were,
known that for
yeah.
years. I don't know who. I don't know. And when there's a movement to change the name of fallopian tubes because Dr. Fallope, whoever he was not nice.
Oh,
Also, he's a man. So yeah,
also, right, right. I
you
mean,
know,
we can blame it all. I'm sure the
right.
PCOS was, discovered by a man or named by a
Named
man.
by I don't maybe, but also, like, maybe that's all they knew then.
Right.
Maybe
So
they
let's
really
update.
right. So let's update, right? Like we're always learning new things.
Right.
This is what happens when we're unscripted. We just keep going.
We
But I'll
are
say this, like women, it is actually I hate to say it like this, but we're doing something really wrong if we need to tell people
to
we can't
discuss.
talk about this today. It's just wrong.
No, no.
It's another. I mean, yes, we could blame the patriarchy for everything. That's part of
Right.
it.
It's some under his
Um,
eye bullshit is
yeah,
what
it
it
is.
is,
A little bit. I mean, how
right?
far are we right now from Gilead? Like,
Right.
not a whole lot further.
It's really frightening. And I
Yeah,
I recognize the sentiment behind the sign wasn't like, "Shut the fuck up, women." Sorry, excuse
yeah.
this is gonna be one of those
That's okay.
episodes where we
We'll find
say
out.
language is involved.
Yeah,
Um, I recognize it wasn't that, but you clearly have a problem. Again, if you have to the messaging behind the sign, if you
yeah,
have to put the sign up. And it's funny you mentioned that Instagram post because my client, when we were texting, and then I found out the reason I found out it was her gynecologist is because she sent me a picture and it was about pap smears and you don't have to have them every year anymore. And here's why, and da 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 da
yeah,
da. And she goes, and I didn't even get a pap smear. She's like, so I'm actually not sure what I was here for. And that's when I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what doctor was that? Like, what do you mean that your
yeah,
primary care? And so it's the same thing. If I can't talk about
yeah,
these new symptoms I'm having, she just turned 40. I can't talk about these symptoms. I'm not getting a pap smear. They told her she has to go for her first mammogram
do an
and said,
exam.
wait, this is the best. They told her she had dense breasts.
How do they know that if she's never had a mammo?
I don't know. Told her she had dense breasts. And so she was, well, what does that mean for a mammogram? They're like, well, we're not actually sure, but you should go to like a breast center or oncology, whatever. I mean, again, this whole appointment, the whole system, there's so many things broken with it. And again,
I
that's why I had
can't.
to bring it up today. And
Yeah,
I was like, what
like
better place in the
breast,
podcast?
like
It's crazy.
there are a million things you could talk about. You could talk about, there's like a lot of sophisticated models out there. One that we use a lot is a Tyrer-Cuzick. I always mispronounce it, so I'm sorry. About a woman's per individual risk based on her family history, her
Hmm.
personal history, if she's had kids, not had kids, if she's breastfed. And it's like boom, boom, boom. You actually plug and chug all that stuff into a computer and it gives you a number and then it'll tell you if you're high risk or low risk.
Right.
Like, it takes 90 seconds
Yeah.
for me to do. It might take the patients full minutes to verbalize, but you have done so much public health good in that, I don't know, 6.5
Yeah.
minutes. That's 6.5 minutes. Like, it's not hours.
Right.
Um,
But that's 6.5 minutes of that
yeah,
15 minutes.
yeah,
And it might have taken, 5 minutes just to ask her when her last menstrual cycle was that
yeah,
she now has to calculate because she's not regular. But we can't talk about that
right,
because that might be related to menopause. And
right.
that's for another conversation.
And the patients don't come back. Like it is
No.
so hard to get an appointment. So then
Hmm.
part of me is like, what the hell are all these appointments happening? Like, what if
Right.
I can't get
Right.
in until like whatever August? Right now it's
Right.
May. What's going on between like,
Mhm. What's going on are all these other symptoms that people
yeah,
don't know are related to perimenopause. They're
yeah,
going in for dryness, itchiness, painful, whatever, all the things,
yeah.
moodiness, hormones, birth control that they've been on for way too many years and don't know if
Know
it's
if it's the
helping.
right,
Like,
yeah,
right. They're going for all these other things and then kind of being gaslit,
yeah,
right? Because we can't talk about that and we can't say, oh, actually, did you know that all these symptoms might be related to your estrogen levels changing, your progesterone levels changing, your testosterone level? None of it is addressed. And so that to me is another like major issue with the system. If we can't discuss A, but all of these things fall under umbrella A, how do we help women understand what's going on with their bodies?
we don't. And then that's why we have like predatory wellness grifter economy. I was
Yes.
talking to another doctor about like if we actually did primary preventative care the right way, we would not have this black market economy of supplements and wellness people and IV
Yeah.
clinics, that whole tomfoolery nonsense. Like if real high quality primary care is basic, it is actually not rocket science, it's medical science. Where
Right.
it's how are you eating? How are you sleeping? What hurts? How long has it hurt?
Right.
We all trained to do this in medical school. It's just somewhere along the way, after you become a doctor, you become this cog in the industrial wheel of healthcare. You practice your craft properly. You can't do a good job.
Yeah. That makes
Um,
sense. How could you not, like as a woman, how are you not just grabbing onto anything that could be the answer?
yeah. And that's
And
like when patients would come to me, like even years ago, before I even thought to go out of insurance, because I really only thought like this is the only way to do medicine. I have to work for a company, blah, blah, blah. People will come to me and be like, I saw this on Facebook or I saw this on Instagram. This is like maybe 5, 7 years ago, and I would look at it as like, "Oh, that's all so annoying." Sometimes I would feel like that, but I would be like, "You are looking for answers because you're not getting them in the channels that are supposed to give it."
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you had to consult, and now it's AI. AI is not going anywhere. I know people are
Right.
plugging in their symptoms to ChatGPT and
Absolutely.
Claude and all the others, and it's not gonna go away
Yeah.
because their needs are not met by the current system, and it's not gonna change unless I'm of the camp, like, we need to burn it all down someday.
Sorry. Start fresh.
Yeah.
Start fresh.
Yeah, we need a cleanse, a therapeutic cleanse. Not that
Mm,
kinda cleanse, but,
I
yeah.
mean, all the women, oh, not that one.
Yeah.
We're not going to sell a
Yeah,
cleanser
I'm
yet.
not selling you anything.
We're not grifters yet. No, but I mean, yeah, I don't even know. I lost my train of thought. It's just, it's all of it's so infuriating.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting. And what happens, I think, because you have women, yes, reaching for AI, yes, reaching for whatever they're selling on the internet
Yeah.
at this point just to feel normal. We also become these like project managers. I always think of like GM, right? Like a
Mhm.
general manager of our health. That isn't that kind of what your primary is supposed to help you with? Like, let's connect you with these docs. It used to be, I remember, like, again, we're not that old, but I remember back in the day where if something wasn't right, your doctor could be like, "Oh, I'll get you into this
Yeah.
neurologist. Let me get you into this." Now they just give you a printout list. I can tell you because I now, I'm
Yep.
sure you're the same. We know so many doctors in different industries. Those are not all vetted names,
Nope.
right? And that's not great. So then you call those and not taking new patients or whatever, don't have an appointment until 2028. So none of that's actually as helpful as having these interconnected
Yeah.
teams.
The interconnectedness has really gone away because I also like from the physician standpoint, there is less physician camaraderie.
Yeah.
We're pitted against each other more often than we're encouraged to work as a team. Teamwork is it's army of I. That's what's valued.
Yeah.
That's what's compensated better. Um, in the models that I've worked with, I'm not going to say for everybody. And I will often refer women to doctors that I know as a patient myself. Like for
Yeah.
example, I have to go see a surgical specialist for a problem that I have. I'm seeing her because she managed a pregnant patient of mine 4 years
No.
ago, and I still remember her name, and I remember that patient telling me like how nice this doctor was, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see for myself. So I
Right.
will report back at the
Good.
end of June. What
Good.
if
Maybe she'll
like
be on
yeah,
our podcast.
I
But
love it.
right?
Yeah,
You collect names. Like I
yeah,
do the same thing and I share them with all my friends, all my
sure,
clients, all the because and other doctors will say, "Oh, don't ever refer to this person. They were,
yeah,
a nightmare," or do refer to these people. We shouldn't have to work this hard though. That's
no,
what's like it's so frustrating. And yes, we'll do it for everyone else. So, yay, you should do it for ourselves. Got all that. But it should be easier. I should
yeah,
be able to talk about anything I want with the doctor that is connected to the part of the body that I am going to see. Obviously, I'm not going to necessarily talk about, actually, that's a lie. I can talk about perimenopause with my eye doctor because your eyes change.
yeah,
And guess what? He talks about it all the time. And that is amazing. And that's a male doctor who talks about how your eyesight changes with estrogen levels changing. That's awesome. But you should certainly be able to talk about that with, I don't know, your gynecologist.
yeah, yeah. It's and I get the referring out too. Like I am not going to do your ankle surgery. No, I will
Neither am
send.
I.
Yeah, I will send you to ortho, or I'm not going to manage your insulin pump. I will send you to an
Right.
endocrinologist. Like there is
Right.
something to be said about yes, we refer to specialists when out of our wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
But the way that doctor replied to your patient, like, "What do you think this is a wellness clinic?" That's the problem. Like his dismissal. And I'm
Right.
not saying that he's a bad doctor. That's not the point here. But it's like when you work in that system long enough, you start seeing it that way, and it
Right.
becomes adversarial when a patient comes in and asks about something. But like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely. And also what is a wellness clinic? Or like a right my thought immediately when I think of wellness centers, and maybe this is a conversation for another day, but I think because women aren't accessing care, there are people who are jumping in without the degrees, without the real medical degrees, certification, therapist degrees, whatever it is, who become coaches and they're filling in that gap. And unfortunately, you have people who are saying, I don't want to pay at a network to
Right.
see doctor, this doctor, but
But
let me pay, $700 for a 30-minute appointment
right.
with this whatever
With
person.
this energy healer,
Right.
which is
It's
like, if that's how you want to spend your money, great. But it is
great,
not a
fine, but do
replacement.
both.
Yeah, it's not a replacement. That's the
That's the
thing.
problem. None of them are
Yeah.
replacements.
And then, but then they'll go off on like their wellness journey and inject themselves and put whatever,
Yeah.
God knows what, like $600 worth of supplements that you're just peeing out
Right.
that
Right.
actually is causing you liver damage. It's kind of like putting someone in need, who has a need, who's like looking for something, but you're giving them band-aids that aren't going to solve truly what's wrong.
Yeah.
And just it breaks my heart a little bit, because breaks my heart a lot of it, because like
They're quick fixes.
I
They're
don't know.
quick
Yeah.
fixes and not for nothing. But when we think there's a placebo effect too.
Yeah.
So when we think something's helpful, we're like, woo, dopamine, yay.
Right.
And we've all done it. I've absolutely been a sucker for things, right? I see things on Instagram. My husband jokes. It's like, there's an ad for something. I'm like, this is it. This is
Yeah.
the answer,
This is
right?
it.
I had right the Holderness family husband was like making fun of the wife with all the things that she has bought online that are supposed to make her feel better, like the vibrating plate
Oh,
thing, the all the water bottles, the
the water
mask,
bottles.
and it's just so funny. But we buy whatever we think will help because why not? But if we were actually getting the help we needed,
Yeah.
that stuff might not be as attractive.
And then I'm going to throw in that little cynic voice right there, like, what is it? Littlefinger? I call him Littlefinger. Yeah, Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Chaos is a ladder. This level of dysfunction and lack of quality care is serving somebody else. Like, it's making money for
Yes.
somebody else. So there's no, and it's putting money in people's pockets.
Mm-hmm.
It serves them to keep the chaos going. Um,
Absolutely.
Like, again, my brain is she's just, she's had a day.
You're good.
But insurance premiums are going up.
Yeah.
That's not a controversial statement. That is a fact.
Mhm.
CEO salaries of major insurance companies is also going up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're just taking money and putting it in pockets, but they are their
Just taking
business.
money and putting it I'll say it.
But, like, there was something like, oh, it's with they're denying more claims. Cigna came out and they had this, like, 2025 thing about how, they're using AI to, like, not have as many prior auths or whatever tomfoolery. But they're not having the prior auths on, like, the low-hanging fruit. Like, the big expensive procedures and interventions are still
Right.
like, prior auths is a whole bag of worms, and I've seen so many funny memes about this, like, the doctor orders the test. The insurance company is like, we need to see everything documented forever about why you need this
Right.
test. Oh,
Yeah.
and it's denied anyway. And it's like been months and weeks. Like, and that's a very simplistic example, but it rings true. So even when you get in, even when you see the doc, whether it's for your GYN or your primary
Yeah.
care or whatever, there's still that, that insurance is just like from the top, side, below, every angle dictates what you do and how you breathe and function in healthcare.
Yep. Yep. And what
Uh,
medications you can take, what medications you
exactly.
can't take. I mean, how many times do you go to pick something up and they're like, "Oh, it's $80." You're
It's
like, "Just kidding. Please call my doctor. Have them
yeah,
do a substitute for that."
right. And that
Yeah.
takes time. I prescribe birth control all the time. All the time. I call it's birth control, but it's really another form of hormone therapy, right? Because it's
Right.
not just for contraception. And so many times patients will like now I know, like, what works for most insurances, so
Right.
it's faster, but so many times they'll be like, "Oh, it's $200 a month," or "It's $50
Yes.
a month," and I
Yes, let's
can't
do
afford
that.
it, or whatever like, I don't know what your financial situation is, I'm so sorry, let me find an equivalent,
Yeah.
I will write something new. But in the insurance world, I wasn't getting paid for that extra work I was doing, fielding the phone call, resending the script.
No.
Not that, "Oh, I should be paid," but, like, that's part of
But you should. That's work.
it's work. And there's a whole other movement about like all the unpaid work that is done in healthcare
Yeah.
and disproportionately by female physicians. Like that's a whole other because like the pay gap now between male and females within the same specialty is the widest it's ever been.
Wow.
Like 30% almost. It can be that big.
That's
Doesn't mean that
gross.
it always has to be, but I'm like, ladies,
Yeah.
it's time. Burn it down.
So that's why we're loud.
Yeah,
Right? So then I
gotta
go
be.
back to all the menopause stuff on the internet and I'm like, good,
Yeah,
good.
good.
Let's get loud. Let's have everybody see that sign and go in and bitch to that doctor. You
Yeah.
know what? Maybe that takes 5 minutes of their 15-minute appointment, but it also is 5 minutes for every person who goes in to piss that person off enough for them to go, hey guys, maybe we should remove this sign.
Yeah.
Or maybe we need to think about what we're projecting. Or I don't know, maybe that guy will leave the system the same way every other
And you
good
know what?
doctor there is leaving.
I can almost bet that the physicians, nurses, clinical people in that office had nothing to
Oh,
do
nothing.
with that sign
No,
out. So even bitching to
absolutely
them,
nothing. That's
like
true.
they're the face, but like that sign,
Yeah,
someone higher up in the organization, chief medical officer.
absolutely.
So talk to your like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Or honestly, a man. No woman is putting that up. And if she is, shame on her.
that is. And yeah, I just we have this platform. We're gonna use
Yeah.
it. We're gonna talk about the things. Let us know
Yeah.
what things are bothering you guys.
Love to hear from people. We really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, totally true. All right, lady. So
Yep.
we've got to get back to our regularly scheduled program,
All the things.
all the things.
Yeah. Because when you're holding it all together,
There are no sick days.
no sick days, y'all. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
No Sick Days is for information and education only. It is not medical or mental health treatment. Listening to this podcast does not create a medical or therapeutic relationship. Please talk to a qualified professional for care that is right for you.